welcome to another RSR. Tonight we're reviewing France 0, Canada 0 in an international friendly. Canada draws the second best team in the world 0-0 in France, no less. To me, that's a win. I don't know about you, but to me, that's a win. Canada did learn something from the Netherlands game. Jesse Marsch did learn a little bit about pragmatism. I think they pressed the ball well. I think they had good possession. They played good forward. They had some really good, arguably good chances against France. Jonathan David had a couple of chances. Kone with a good shot. They didn't really test Magnan, but they had some good chances. If they were a little bit more on target, those could have went in. There were some really good moments where Canada definitely were wasteful, but France were as well. Yes, Max Crépeau definitely ended up getting the draw, earning the draw for Canada. He's back to his old self. No worries, no how. Max Crépeau is back to his old self. It was nice to see it. Pre-leg break, Max Crépeau shows up in a game where they need to have him show up. What a performance from Max Crépeau. Canada's defense was tight. It was taut. They defended very well as a team, as a group, as a back four, back five. They defended crosses very well. I thought the game's game plan, match plan, was very similar to Leeds-Liverpool. The one where Leeds won at Anfield. I think it was very similar to that. Ironically enough, it doesn't hurt that I watched the Jesse Marsch Masterclass Coach's Voice video on it earlier today. But it seemed like that was the plan. It was a very similar plan to that. Now, France is not as a dynamic team or as dynamic of a team as that Liverpool team. But it worked to an extent. I think the luck on the goals didn't come because I think, yes, they earned that luck. They made that luck when Leeds did it. Canada didn't get that luck. I don't think they had a moment to really press and swarm like that to cause calamity at the back. But they still pressed very well. They still got the ball. They still won second balls. They still defended very well. France had their moments. Crépeau made a lot of saves, but I think they were also wasteful at times. Upamecano with a header late in the first half. I think that was a really big miss, a really big mistake where he missed on that header. He whiffed on that header, sent it over the bar. I think somebody else would have scored that. But halftime, it was 0-0. Canada goes 45 minutes once again in Europe without allowing a goal. The first half of the Netherlands game was 0-0. This one was as well. But you could tell they didn't empty the tank to make a good first impression. They did defend well. They did use a lot of energy, but they didn't empty the tank as much as they did against the Netherlands. You could tell that the way they played, they tried to be more cognizant of when to use their energy, when to press. I think they're starting to get it a little bit more. I think Jesse Marsch has made changes to the system. I think he knows finally he has to be pragmatic, especially in a national team job. You have to be more pragmatic. And maybe also what happened to Greg Berhalter might have taught him that. League, a little bit less so. I think you could, as the season goes on, it's a longer season, you can be less pragmatic. You still should change things if need be. But you didn't know that at Leeds. He was very stubborn. But I think here you have to be pragmatic as things go. Yes, when you're dominating a game, you can play the ball forward. But again, this was more similar to that game plan of Leeds versus Liverpool. And Canada played it well for 90 minutes. I thought they played it well for 90 minutes. They defended well. They had good chances forward. Yes, were they perfect? No. Did they score? No. Could they have? Maybe once that I think they really scuffed. That David chance where he was wide open, crossed the ball in. I think they could have definitely overran the box. That's another thing he preaches, Jesse Marsch, is that you need players overrunning the box, sprinting into the box, and overrunning the defenders. I don't think they did that there. That's exactly what they could have done there. They did have the low cross setting up into the center of the box, trying to cause a mismatch, trying to cause an overrun into the box. But that didn't happen on that play. And if it did, I think there's a goal there. At least a shot on Magnan. Does he screw it up? Is he a little bit to the right? Does he not jump quick enough? Maybe. But again, if I don't have the tactics board, but maybe that'll start being a thing. So you see Jonathan David's here in the half space, right? Say this is the 18-yard box. He's in the half space right here. He has the ball. There was one player in the box, but you didn't have 1, 2, 3. You didn't have 1, 2, 3 players running into the box for the flat cross. You could have easily overran the center backs here. Drop in 3 players like a Laren. I don't know if he was on then. But you could drop in 3 players, have them crowd the box. You're going to get a numerical advantage. You're going to get a shot. The flat cross was right. I don't think there was enough players running into the box on that David chance. That could have really easily been a 1-0 win for Canada there. It wasn't, but again, if you looked at the situation, they had the flat cross. If there were more players running the box, loading the box, I think that would have been a goal. And it was very possible, per se, but, you know, again, David had the right idea with the low cross. Marsh was probably happy about that. Definitely could add more runners in the box. But that could have easily been a 1-0 win. Other than that, Canada legit could have won this game. There's an argument to be made. They could have won this game. France, there's also an argument for them. But the fact that Canada drew 0-0, amazing. Full-time 0-0. Again, Canada defending well for most of the match. They pressed well. They counter-pressed well. They won second balls. They had a very good midfield. They did have a couple of giveaways in the midfield. There were moments where they were overran. The defense had to be, I wouldn't say overran, but the defense had to track back quickly from the halfway line or closer to the halfway line. Again, Maxime Crépeau with an amazing performance as well to bail out the defense sometimes. He definitely did bail them out. Crépeau definitely earned the draw more than Magnan did, I would have to say, when it comes to goalkeepers. But again, when you have to, he had to bail out that defense. But the defense was still pretty stout. They defended in a line, defended tightly. I don't know about the team in a net on out of possession, going into trying to get the ball back on a press or counter-pressing the ball. But in that sort of way, I thought Canada, again, played well. France was stymied for a good portion of the game. Again, wasteful but stymied. I think there is a very correlation here. I don't think it was they missed 30 shots, which they didn't even get the 30 shots, but they didn't miss shot after shot after shot. Yes, Crépeau made saves, but there were also misses, yeah. But in the end, I think defensively, Canada stood pretty firm. If luck was their way, that David goal would have been scored. They would have won the game overall instead of just drawing. But it still feels like a win anyway. Full-time 0-0. Full-time stats. 13 shots to 7. 4 shots on goal to 0. 51% possession to 49% possession. 521 passes to 513. 90% pass accuracy to 89. 18 fouls to 17. 4 offside to 2. 1 yellow card to 1. 0 red cards, 0. 7 corners to 1. Again, Canada played a very good match. That is just the facts. France definitely had a showing of being the number 2 team in the world. It wasn't like they were horrible. They played well. No Mbappe starting. I don't think they really had a problem with that. I think Girault played well until he really got hobbled up. Mbappe had one chance that Max Crépeau saved, like on the doorstep, just saved. Like the aura of that to clinch the draw. Last second Mbappe save or save on Mbappe. Like, dude, that was amazing. That was amazing. For me, Max Crépeau is the man of the match. I don't think there's anything else. I don't know how Canada Soccer says Ismail Kone was man of the match. Yeah, Kone played well, don't get me wrong. He played well in the midfield, but this would not have been a draw if not for Maxime Crépeau saying, hey, you know what? I'm finally back from the leg break. I'm healthy. I'm 100%. Yeah, has the season started well for me? Not exactly. But what it has been, I could be good. I still could be great. And he proved that he's still very, very talented. He's still a very good goalkeeper. One of the best in MLS and one of the best in probably, I wouldn't say the world, but if he went to Europe, he'd probably be damn good too. Hopefully he wouldn't get Matt Turnered, but he's old enough to probably just stay in MLS. But the fact he's this quality while being in MLS says something. Max Crepeau, big performance from Max Crepeau to allow a draw. France, I think a draw is a fair result. I think France definitely could have won this game. Canada definitely could have won this game. If France did, it would probably have been 2 or 3. But Canada could have won 1-0 as well. I think a draw is a fair result. I think Canada drawing the second best team in the world is probably one of the best things you could ever hope for. I did not hope for that or think that would happen at all, especially after the Netherlands result. But even going in past before the Netherlands game was played, I'm like, yeah, we're losing to France. Mbappe or not, we're losing to France. And then they go into France and say, okay, got to make a statement. They did. 0-0 against the second best team in the world. That's a statement. I don't care who you are. If you don't think that's a statement, you're blind. This was the best CONCACAF result over the past 2 weeks already. I don't care if the USA beats Brazil. This is the best result. They went to France. They went to Bordeaux. They went to Europe, held the Netherlands for 45 minutes, which that is some context. Then they held France for 40 or 90 minutes. And again, they had chances at goal in both games. Did they score? No, but it's not like they just parked the bus and said, okay, let's get this. No, they did go forward. They did have chances. They did have moments where they looked like they could score. It's just that they didn't because, yeah, quality-wise on the front line, Larin had a horrible European season. He is basically just a better foobar. At least he could score against Mexico and the USA and even maybe teams like Peru. He can't score against France or Netherlands. David, again, if there were more players running into the box for that play, running into the box on the low cross, on the flat cross, tap it in, I think they would have at least won 1-0. That was a missed opportunity. That's the thing I'm looking at and saying, this could be even bigger. If Jonathan David's flat cross in the second half had somebody at the end of it. If there was 3 or 4 guys crashing that box, that's going in. Magnan wouldn't know where to look. There was only, I think, 2 center backs. Maybe a third outside back that could have tucked in. 4 guys would have overloaded that box. That was in the half space. That's exactly what they were trying to do that's exactly what they did do. Leeds in the Liverpool game with Somerville when he got the goal. Half space, tuck in, crash the box, pass it back, put it past. That's sort of, again, this game is similar to that game plan. The goals just didn't come for Canada like they did for Leeds. But on paper, again, this Canada team is better than that Leeds team, so I'm not surprised it worked. And again, this France team isn't as dynamic as that Liverpool team, in my opinion. So again, of course, the game plan works, and they repurposed it a little bit, but it's kind of ironic that I watched that video, that Jesse Marsch masterclass, and then 6, 7, 8 hours later, he does it against France. It really, no, legitimately, look at it, though. Like, watch the video, watch the game, watch the video. If you think about it, it is a similar game plan, match plan that they implemented here. The goals just didn't come. And luckily for Canada, they didn't allow a goal to France either. Unlike Leeds allowing a goal to Liverpool on that header from the far post early in the match after the first goal. So again, it's a very similar situation. It's actually kind of funny. If you watch that video, like I watched it before the match and I'm like, hold on. Like 15 minutes in, I'm like, okay, Canada's trying to redo that game plan. Ironically enough, it's funny. Ironically enough, they were trying to redo that game plan. Now, Jesse Marsch has a certain style of tactics, but even being sort of flexible in this game, they still sort of tried to redo that game plan. Now, do I think the pressing was very tight? Do I think they tried to cause a mistake like that? No. Chaos? No. But, again, I think that was also sort of the pragmatism of it. But again, it's a very similar game plan. If you watch that masterclass on Coach's Voice that Jesse Marsch did for that game, and you look at this game and you're like, yeah, I see a lot of parallels. Do I think that's because of Jesse Marsh's system? Slightly. But again, when you know it worked for a lesser talented team against a team who was more dynamic than the one you're facing, even if they are the second best team in the world, and you have a better team on paper than that Leeds team, against a team who's less dynamic but plays in a similar way, okay, you know what? Maybe it'll work again. Now, were the goals a bit lucky in that Leeds game? Yes. Could they have had the same thing happen with Jonathan David crossing the ball in low? Yes. At least 1-0. But, Canada could have won this game as well. But, here's my biased portion of this. France fans, this ain't for you. You know what we're going to do now? After this result? We're going to go to Argentina. We're going to beat Argentina. We're going to beat Chile. We're going to beat Peru. We're going to beat Uruguay. We're going to beat Uruguay. May have to beat Argentina again, but we're going to go to the Copa America final and win the Copa. Yeah! Yeah, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. But yeah, Canada, they're back, baby. Who would have thought? With that being said, if you like this video, like and share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. But it's a play. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I'll see you at 8 o'clock, 7:55 for Montserrat versus Panama live and review. We got a double today. I know you've missed them, but we're back. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. See ya. Let's go, boys. Let's go. What a game. What a game.